Hello everyone, and welcome to Geeks Not Nerds, the podcast. I'm Captain Logan.
And I am Vince.
Vince, if you were going to make a movie
Yeah.
based on a book, what would be your process? How close would you want to stick to the source material?
Well, first of all, I would take all the dialogue straight from the book, and I would shoot every scene in succession 100% and make it completely faithful.
Okay, so first of all, your movie would be 8 hours long.
If not more.
Right. And secondly, it would be really boring.
Indeed.
So today we're going to be talking about the source material in movies. Movies based on books and comics, and based on really anything that, a movie might be based on that isn't just a script.
Yeah.
And I think within our first 54 seconds, we've already kind of hit the nail on the head. I don't think a movie can ever be 100% faithful to the source material, and I'm not sure that it should be. And people who are really big fans of books, and especially of a book series, will go to a movie that's based on said book series and immediately start nitpicking the things that are left out, the things that are done differently, etc., etc. And sometimes I think that they're validated in doing so, depending on what it is. You know, sometimes something will be left out that easily could have been there. That could have been
that
awesome.
advances plot or character, and if it's not there, it doesn't make sense.
Right, or that you imagine while you're reading it, oh god, that would look amazing on screen, and then it's left out. But then sometimes I think people fail to realize that film is a different medium, and that some things that work well in a book and in some other medium aren't going to translate well to screen.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes I think people really get caught up in the idea of, I read this book, and because I put forth the time and effort to read the book, they're automatically emotionally attached to the idea of the book, therefore the movie's not going to be good enough, because they're already so attached to the source material, even if it's not very good.
To the point sometimes of saying, of almost, going as far as saying, hey, I know this book better than the director. I could have made this movie better. But could you really?
Is it even that filmable?
Right.
From the book stage? I mean, Watchmen.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go there. See, that's the thing. But the thing about Watchmen. No, I'm gonna go. If you're gonna go there, I'm gonna go there.
We're gonna fight.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
The thing. We'll save the fight for when we're filming our faces.
Because that would look so much more cool on camera.
The thing about Watchmen is that it stuck, I think, as close to the source material as it possibly could without getting really boring. And like, I know that there are things that they did differently in the movie that you don't like, but then again, there are movies that you like, I think, based on comics that stray quite a bit away from the source material. So you're not a purist necessarily. You're not someone who's like, well, if it's not just like the thing that it was, in the book or in the comics or whatever, then I'm not gonna like it. You always told me your issue with Watchmen was mostly just that you didn't think it was very filmable in the first place, so they shouldn't have even made it.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Watchmen. There's certain things that wouldn't translate to film that I thought there was lots of stuff that was really ripped straight from the comic that they did a terrific job. And I'm going to jump to a different movie real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I think this is entirely relevant. Beowulf.
I didn't see that.
I haven't seen it, but I know what happens in it. And
okay.
And it's not so much an aesthetic thing, so you guys can't blast me for that. But what this is an actual order of events type of thing. Beowulf, the epic poem, I've read it several times now.
I've read it too.
And if you're an English major, you've read the poem. If you're an English major at Emporia State, you've translated the poem. So yes, but what the writer did, and I believe the writer was Gaiman, right? Neil Gaiman?
Neil Gaiman wrote Beowulf, the movie?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
Well, if I'm wrong about that, whatever.
Obviously, I've looked deeply into this topic.
But do you know what the source of the dragon is in the Beowulf movie?
I don't know anything about the movie, beyond the fact that I thought that the CG looked really bad, so I didn't go see it. I know nothing about it.
The thing that happens with Grendel is Grendel. Grendel's mother is Angelina Jolie with a tail. And the source of the dragon, if you haven't read the epic poem, is just something that happens entirely separate from everything that's with Grendel and Grendel's mother. But the dragon in the movie is the offspring of Grendel's mother and Beowulf. When Beowulf first goes to kill Grendel's mother, he has sex with Grendel's mother. And then Grendel's mother has another child that is a golden child that becomes a dragon.
Of course.
Yeah. Now here's my beef with that. Why would Beowulf have sex with the thing he's going to kill?
Yeah, that makes any kind of sense. So you're not saying, oh, they shouldn't have strayed from the source material. You're saying, if you're going to stray from source material, do something that makes some kind of sense.
Exactly. And that's my big beef with things that they say, we're going to do something completely different. Fine.
Then make a different movie.
Make it...
Don't make Beowulf. If you want to do something, make something that's sort of like Beowulf, but write a new story. Why, you know? And it's kind of like Robin Hood, really, which I haven't seen because I've heard too many bad things about. So I just haven't. I'm not even interested in seeing it.
Ridley Scott's Robin Hood?
The new one, the one that's out in the theaters right now. I don't know. I might Netflix it when it comes out, just so I know about it. But I don't know. It looks bad. Everyone I've talked to said that it's awful. And what people are saying about it is that it's just too brooding and has no humor in it whatsoever. And I feel like that's kind of the logical progression for this, right? We want to do Robin Hood in a way it's never been done before, which is a lot like saying, let's make it bad, right? I mean, like, in some ways, and I mean, like, that's oversimplification. That's not fair for everything. But to do a Robin Hood, which is from the source material, something that has a lot of humor built into it, it's kind of like saying, we're going to do a really serious version of Powerpuff Girls. It doesn't make any kind of sense, right? Why would you try to do the exact opposite of what something was originally intended to be, instead of just making the movie you'd like to make? And I think what a lot of this goes back to, and we talk about this a lot. I bet some of our listeners are sick of hearing us talk about this, but it seems to be kind of where everything's going right now, so I'm going to mention it again. Remakes, reboots, and things that are popular at the very moment is what's being made right now because it's what Hollywood knows they can get money for. And because of that, you've got filmmakers who, this is my opinion, this is what I think is going on. I think you have filmmakers who want to make something original and can't because they can't get Hollywood to make it because Hollywood is afraid it won't make any money with it. So they'll take something like Robin Hood, and then the director's like, I don't want to make Robin Hood. I don't like Robin Hood. Robin Hood's boring. I've seen that a million times. Why do I have to make another Robin Hood? So instead of making Robin Hood, he makes something called Robin Hood.
Yeah. Kind of like Dawn of the Dead.
Kind of like Karate Kid.
They even say in the commercial, in the preview for Karate Kid,
everything is kung fu.
Yeah, they say it's kung fu.
Now, here's what someone told me about this. I'm not going to pretend like I care, but this is what someone told me that the reason they're calling it Karate Kid and it can work is because there's apparently a longer trailer I haven't seen. Apparently the idea is that the kid has learned karate, but he's not very good at it, and he's trying to fight someone, and he loses because he's not any good at this. And then he meets up with his mentor, and his mentor teaches him kung fu because he's just learned generic karate, but he teaches him something more specific, and that's kung fu. And so he's the Karate Kid because he, was learning karate, but now he's learning kung fu. Now, my problem with that is, even if that's the case, first of all, it sounds dumb in my brain. And secondly, even if that's the idea, even if karate plays into the film somehow, you're naming the film after what's happened in the status quo. So the status quo is he knows karate, and what builds his character is he learns kung fu. So why would the title be the status quo? It bothers me, and narratively, it's a problem for me. Ultimately, all of that is just an excuse to make a movie that is not really a remake of The Karate Kid and call it The Karate Kid so you can get money. It's the exact same thing we're talking about with Robin Hood.
Here's a horrible thing to ask.
Yes.
Isn't Watchmen named after what was in the status quo? Considering the status quo was they were superheroes and now the group has been disbanded?
Yeah, but then some of them come back together and try it again.
But that happens before the movie starts.
No, but then, like, But during the film, some of the superheroes become superheroes again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's the story of the Watchmen anyway.
And they team up again.
Yeah,
so
I
whatever.
Be a smart ass.
Yeah. That's okay.
Can I say that on the podcast?
Yeah, well, you did.
Well, I'm said unbearable such and such.
Yeah,
so.
right. Anyway.